Okay, so we should start now. So, hello everyone, and welcome back to Android Study Jams. My name is Mayank Kumar, and today we'll be looking at the remaining part of Predator Programming Experience track. As a reminder, this track is designed for people with prior programming experience to learn how to build basic Android apps in Kotlin. Also, I have covered the first part of this track that was mainly related to the fundamentals of Kotlin programming language and its special features and Kotlin cones in the last session. So make sure to check that out if you haven't yet. So here are some of the prerequisites that would be helpful for you for this part of the track. You should be having a proper prior programming experience in any of the object-oriented programming language, as well as you should have an experience in using an IDE, which stands for Integrated Development Environment. You should also have some familiarity with how to work with GitHub, okay, but not too much of its knowledge is required. So you should be just familiar how to use GitHub. You should also be having a computer with proper internet connection as usual to complete all the code labs, exercises, and develop your Android apps using Android Studio. And Android device is optional so that you can test your app, but it is not mandatory to have it. Now, before diving in, let's have a very basic question to pump up your motivation. Why are you interested in building Android apps, or why should you like to build Android apps? Can anyone answer? Anyone? Can anyone answer?
Please repeat the question, sir.
Why are you interested in building Android apps? Means why would you like to build Android apps? What motivates you to build it?
Sir, the user-friendly environment of Android, as it is so much popular nowadays, and it has
Yeah,
a huge scope.
yeah, sure. So you answered it correctly. Very good. Okay, so let me give you a point on why you should be building Android apps. Now, see, you can find an Android device with everyone, whether in the form of an Android smartphone, Android smartwatch, Android TV, Android tablet, etc. Also, over billions of Android devices are working across the globe in all the above mentioned forms. Okay, so you can easily see how great it is to deploy your app to be used in these large number of devices. You can easily deploy your apps to app stores like Google Play Store, which helps you to capture a large user base. Okay. Also, I guess you will also agree with me that accessing a particular service using an Android app provides a great user experience, as many of these services become handy to us by the help of Android apps. So I guess now you have a proper motive on why you should develop an Android app. Okay. So now here is a glimpse of some of the apps that you would be developing as a part of this track. So the first app is the Dice Roller app. Okay, so if you have started with the new to programming track, I guess you have already developed it. Okay, so basically the motive of this app was to help you understand how you can handle the click events, the button clicks by the user. Now, the second app is the About Me app, which helps you to understand how you can you take user input and do the work. Now, the third app that you would be developing here is the Color My View app. Okay, this app helps you to understand how you can build more complex layouts. How you can build more complex layouts because it might be some cases where you need to develop a complex or unique layout. So this app helps you understand how you could build that. There are also more apps apart from these apps that you would be building as part of this track. However, these apps will introduce to the building UI layouts on Android, which is a key building block of Android development. With the we will also have the demo of some of these apps on in the last part of this session. Okay, so this is the schedule for today's session. We have started with a short intro. Next, we would be covering some basic concepts, some little concepts. Okay. Next, we would be having some hands-on part with Android Studio. I will try to introduce you to some of the great features of Android Studio. Okay. So it could be helpful for you when you are developing your own Android apps. I will also provide you some of the tips that you should be knowing when you are developing your Android apps, so that you can easily develop a great Android app. Means you can easily integrate the various features like that. At the last, as I said before, we will also be having some demo of the apps that you would be building as a part of this track. Also, in the last part of this session is mainly focused on doubts, because since it is the final session, so I would be mainly I have devoted a 20 minutes time for doubts, live doubt session that you want me to discuss here. So now let's start to look at some of the basic concepts. As of now, you might all have been familiar with Android Studio. However, if you haven't yet, let me tell you, Android Studio is the official tool for developing Android apps. It is used even by the professional Android developers for developing Android apps. If you want to get more overview of Android Studio, I have already covered it in the first track in the first session. So check that out. Also, you will be using an Android emulator for testing your Android apps. However, you can use your own Android device for testing Android apps as well. Now, for each Android app, you will be defining a layout. If you don't know what a layout is, basically a layout defines the structure of your user interface in your app. Means how all your views or all your elements are placed in your app. Okay, so in Android, layout is made up of a hierarchy of views and view groups. So we will be discussing next views. So here are some of the views that are provided by Android. I've already covered these in the first session as well. Okay, so a text view for displaying a text, image view for displaying an image, button to where the user interacts. There are more views along with these, but these are some of the common views that you would be using regularly. Okay, so now you might be thinking why I'm repeating these topics, because these topics are covered in both parts of the tracks. Means in both tracks, even in the new to programming track and even in the pre programming experience track. Okay, so if you have started with new to programming track, you can easily complete this in also in this track. Now let's talk about view groups. So in when defining a layout, you need to position your one or more views, okay, on your screen. So for positioning your views, you will need to use a view group. So what a view group actually does, view groups helps you to organize your views in a proper order as you want them to be organized. So here are some of the examples of a view groups. So the first one is a frame layout. So basically a frame layout is used when you only want to organize just one element. So in this case we are just organizing a text view. Okay, so, but if you want to organize a row or column of view groups, you can use linear layout. So here is a linear layout. So you can see that it has so the views are here organized vertically. Okay, so basically it is a vertical linear layout. Okay, so you can in linear layout you can position your views horizontally or vertically as you like. Now the third is the most interesting one, constraint layout. Basically constraint layout helps you in building more complex layouts. Okay, so some layouts might not be possible to build using linear layouts or frame layouts. So constraint layout takes care of that. You can build more complex and beautiful layouts using constraint layouts. And also let me tell you that the tracks of Android Study Gems are mainly focused on the constraint layout, so that you can have a proper you can get a proper knowledge of using constraint layout and easily develop complex and unique views. Now in Android, you will declare your layouts using XML. XML stands for extensible markup language. Okay, some part of this might, if you have seen HTML, okay, so you can find it somewhat similar to that, but it is not same actually. For example, this is what a text view element will look like in an XML. For each element you will define in your XML file, you will specify some attributes that would help you to design the element that you are defining. Okay, for example, in as the text view element shown here, we have defined some attributes like Android colon text, which basically helps us to incorporate the text that we want to display using this element. Okay, so here are two more attributes that are defined here. So here are layout width and layout height, which as the name suggests is used for defining the layout width and height of the element that we are defining here. So in this case we have used wrap content. So basically what wrap content means that the element that we are defining will have this will be as tall and as wide as the content inside it will be. Means the size of the element will be same as the content that is inside it. Means if we are inserting a larger text, then its width will increase automatically, and if we are incorporating here a large amount of text, then its height will be automatically increased. Okay, so it takes care of that. So these are some of the attributes that you would be defining. So these are not just, there are many more attributes that you would be knowing when you would be going through the tracks. So but these are some of the important ones that you would be mostly defining in the case of text view. So there are also other attributes for different elements, like button has different attributes, image view has different attribute, like that. Along with layouts, you will be exploring other aspects of a basic Android app, which includes a main activity, resources of your app, an Android manifest file, and Gradle files. Now, let's talk about each one of them in brief. So, an activity is how the user interacts with the app, and it takes care of creating a window to display your UI. Means using the layout file that you have declared in that I have told you just now. It is just the design part. Means you can just add the elements, you can add the text, you can add the button, but what what response should it give when the user taps on it? You will be defining in the activity file. Okay, so if you have started creating on Android projects, you might be have seen that some activity files like main activity.kt. So this is the main activity. You can also create more activities. I will show you in the hands-on part. Okay, so overall it takes care of all the events, all the backend side of your app. Now the second part is resources. So resources are additional files and static content that your code uses, such as layout files, images, audio files, UI strings, themes, and more. Okay, so these are the resources as the name suggests. Okay, means your app might use some images, your app might use some themes or some colors or some audio. There might be some resources in your app. So all these resources are put in the resource file. Okay. Now, every Android app and every Android project also includes a Android manifest.xml file. So Android manifest.xml file, basically this file describes the essential information about your app, such as the app's package name, the components of the app, and the permission it needs to access. Like your app might need permission to access your contacts. I think that you have seen it already. So, some apps asking permission for your location, or some apps asking permission for the storage or your contacts, etc. Okay, so all these permissions that your app actually wants are declared here in the Android XML file, Android manifest.xml file. Also, it contains the other attributes such as your app name or the activities that your app has. Okay, now Android uses Gradle to automate and manage the build process of your app. Means various parts of building your Android project is done automatically by Android Studio using the Gradle. Okay, so if you want to modify the build, you can make changes to the Gradle files. Okay, you might have seen when you are creating an Android app, Gradle files. Okay, Gradle scripts. So you can modify them if you want to change the build, configure the build of your Android app. Okay, so basically the Gradle file contains the dependencies or property of your apps. it also contains the version number or the version name of your app. So this was just a quick overview of the basic structure of an Android app, Android project. So you will have more time to dive in and explore these firsthand in the course. Now let's talk about how you should get started with this track. So this process is similar to what you have already done in earlier tracks as well. So let's just quickly navigate through these steps. So similar to previous sessions, you just need to go to the main program page and using the link provided, and in the new to programming track, you just need to click on the start course button. So when you start the course, so you can see this page, see this type of page, that you can see that there are 2 units in the pre programming experience track, and and total 10 pathways, means total 10 badges you will earn using by completing the pre programming experience track. Okay, so again let me remind you that I have told that you need to mandatorily complete the pre programming experience track to be eligible for the certificate of completion. So by the deadline, and also the deadline has been extended to 29th of February, so you can get good amount of time to learn. So when you will go in, get into a pathway, so this is why it would be looking like. So it is similar to what we have done in the previous sessions as well. So basically a pathway is a combination and order sequence of learning activities such as code labs, videos, etc. And at the end of each pathway there would be a quiz so that you can test your knowledge. Okay, and as you complete the quiz you will be getting your badges, and that would be added into your Google developer profile. So now let's get started to some of our hands-on part. So so I guess you can see my Android Studio is opened up. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now let's again look to our Android project. So this was our Android project that we have created in the last sessions. So this is this I have named this app as the first app. Okay, so just remember to select the Android option here in the in this drop down so that you can find the most relevant files. Okay, so you can also switch to other views, but I would not recommend that. You might get bothered of finding your files. So just remember to switch to Android apps. So these are the main your app files, and these are your Gradle files. So let me just open the Gradle files. So there are two Gradle files basically. So this is build.gradle file, that is your that would contain all the dependencies for the whole project, and this is the Gradle file for the module level. It only contains the dependencies for a particular module. Okay, so these are the dependencies, means what dependencies or what packages do my app use, means what other packages do my app use. Okay, so You can many times you will be adding more dependencies as per your need. Means when you will be integrating more features, you would be adding more dependencies. Okay, so don't worry about this. You will be doing this hands-on in your code labs. Okay, so similarly, now let's get to our app files. So this was the manifest file. Okay, so this was the manifest file, Android manifest.xml file. So you can see that it contains my package name that I have created. So it just says com.148.first app. Okay, so these are some of the basic details about my app. Okay, so you can see that it contains the attribute for the icon. Means which icon actually my app uses. Okay, so my app uses currently this icon, so you can modify here also. You can modify if you insert any image in your resource, so you can modify here also to get your desired icon. Okay, so and now the second, this, so this Android colon level, so basically this contains the title of your app. Okay, so this contains title of your app. So now what is this written, address string slash app underscore name? What does it mean? It means that it is using a string resource from our string file. So I will show that file to you, and you can simply think of it as a variable. Okay, if you can simply think it as of a variable, you can use this variable many a times. Okay, you don't need to define or hard code that variable, you just store that variable. Okay, I will be showing you in the resource file just now. Okay, so these are some of the more things. So this contain the theme that my app is using, so you can also change the theme as you want. Okay, now here comes the activity part. Means which activities do my app use? So currently my app only uses one activity, a single activity. Okay, currently my app uses just a single activity, which is the main activity. You can see just right here, it is just using a single activity. Okay, so it is showing me that just one activity is present in my app currently. Okay, so this is also important part, you should know this, because many a times many people get bothered on how to switch different activities or what this actually is. Intent filter, basically what it means that which activity should open up, when the user launches the app. Okay, so inside the activity, if you define this in a particular activity, it tells the Android system that the first activity to open when the user opens the app is this activity, main activity. I will be showing you just now how you can change this to a different activity. Okay, so this was the manifest file, and now here comes the main activities or Kotlin files where you would be writing all your code. Okay, so here you can see that here are some of the code that I have written. So it's very less code. So it contains all the code for handling input events or all the backend code. Okay, it doesn't contain the design part. So now let's come to the resources folder. So in the resources folder, as I've told you that resources are basically the static content, okay, that your app uses. So there are some resource files. So the first one is of them, all of them is drawable file. Okay, so basically it contains you can think that it contains the images of which of that your app uses. Okay, so let me show you some of the images. So you can see that currently my app uses this icon. Okay, currently my app uses this icon. So you can see that this image has been defined as a vector. You will get to know what a vector is. Okay, what a vector is in Android in the code labs. Okay, so you means you can see that this image is defined as a vector, and using a vector in spite of your regular JPEG or PNG files is that it automatically resizes. Okay, means if you have a small image file in the PNG format or JPEG format, and if you are using it on in your app. Okay, so if the device screen, if your device screen is small, then it might be fine to use that image. But if the device screen is large, then that image might get blurred. Okay, so that is taken care by the vector in Android. Okay, so you will be knowing in more detail of what a vector is. So this was that. Now here comes the layout files in your resources folder. So these are all the design part. So these are all the design part that you would be doing in your Android app. So you can see that in this part I have just added an icon. So this is just a call icon that I have added here. Now similarly here are other the values folder that contains the PNG format of these images. So you can see that this was the icon that my app was using. So Android in the backside automatically converts these XML files into PNG formats. So you can see that actually this image was being used as the icon of my app. Okay, so there are different sizes of this image. So and Android automatically optimizes this the best size suitable for a particular device based on its resolution, like that. So you don't need to do it by your hand. So now here comes the values files. So basically values file contains all the values or some of the themes. You can say the themes or the strings, like that. Okay. So it contains like the color file, means it defines all the colors that your app would be using. Okay. So these are the colors that my app is currently using. So if you want to use some another color, you can change here. You can change here, and that will be changed accordingly to that part. And here comes this string.xml file. So right now in the Android manifest.xml file, you have seen in the Android colon label attribute at the string and slash app name. Okay, so you can see that it is using my this string actually. Okay, so let me just run the app also so that I can show you properly. So I will try to change this also so that you can see the live effect also. Okay, so till it gets started. So here are this themes file, means what themes are my is my app using. So you many of you might be knowing what themes are. So right now many of your Android devices are using two themes, the dark theme and the light theme. Okay, so right now in Android Studio there are also two themes. Okay, so you can define separate theme for the light theme, and you can define separate theme for the dark theme as well. Okay, so you can define them separately. You can, if you can see here, it is written night, means this theme file is used when your Android phone is in the dark mode, and this theme file will be used when your app when your Android phone is in the light mode. Okay, so I hope that it is get started. Yeah, so let me just run it. So you can see that this is my running app. Okay, so you can see the name of my app is currently written as first app. So if I want to change this, I can change it from here as well. So I can change it to something, let's say phone app, and let's just rerun it, and you will see that the name of my app will be changed to phone app. So as you can see, now the name of my app is changed to phone app. Okay, so you can define not just this string, you can define different string as well. So you can start with this, like that, and you can define something that str1 or something. So, and you can now use this string in all your layout files or anywhere you want. Okay, so you don't need to worry of the value. Okay, if you use it in many of the files and you change the value here, it will automatically get changed to those files. So it is much better way or much efficient way of using this. Okay, so this was this part. Now let me show you one more thing. There is a color tool in material.io. Okay, there is a color tool in material.io that helps you in choosing the best suited color, for your app. Okay, it provides a much easier experience. Okay, so you can see here that it provides me a basic interface or basic template of what my app will be looking if I choose currently this color. So I can change it. So just click on the primary and I can use this palette to change the color. So let me try to change this to something else. So let me choose this. Okay, so you can see that this theme is also changed. I can also choose the secondary color, and let's just change it to something like this. Okay, so you can change, you can see that this is also changed, and you can not see just this screen, you can change see the other screens as well. So for different, so if your app is using tabbed layout, so it would be like that, and if your app is using this layout, so you can easily find your best suited theme or color here as well. So you can just change it as you like, and you can find it easily. So suppose if you like this theme, example, if you like this theme, so you can simply export it. So let me just export it from here. So you can see that here it downloads me a colors.xml file. Okay, so here it downloads for me a color.xml file. So let me just open it up. So this is the color.xml file. You can simply input these colors in here. You can simply input these colors here, and your theme will be changed. Okay, so you can see that it is easy for us to get our desired theme from here as well. Okay, so this was the color tool that the material.io provides us. Material.io provides us also the other tools, means you can find your icons. You can find your icons that you like. So let me go to the official website. So this is material design website. So you can find your components or icons or various others. It also contains some tutorials. If you want to learn more on the designing part, you can also learn it from here as well. Okay, so this is material.io. Okay, so let's get back here. Now, let me show you another interesting thing in Android Studio that just okay. So now if I want to use an icon, okay, so what you would actually do, you would simply search on the internet, find an image, and then copy that image to the drawable folder and then use it. Okay, so let me just tell you that before doing that, first confirm that is the icon already available here. So how you can find that? You can see here it is a resource manager tab. So just open it up. Okay, so now here comes the resource manager. Now, being on the drawable part, just click on the add resource file, and you can find and start adding a image asset. Okay, so this was the image asset. Now remember to choose a clip art here. And you can find some of the icons that are that are given to you already in Android Studio. Okay, so you can find some icons from here as well before finding it on your web. Okay, so it would be much easier for you to let me just show you using a icon. So let me just use this 5G icon from here. Okay, so it just shows me 5G. So this was the foreground layer. So this was the front layer of this icon, and you can see the different styles that my icon would support. So basically different Android devices contain the icons of different shapes. Okay, some are curved icons, some are a regular square icon, or some are circular icons. Okay, so you can see that it shows me the different designs that my icon would look like if I use a particular shape. You can also use some scaling so that you can do it some large or some small as you want. Okay, now let's come to the background layer part. So here you can use the background. So currently this background is green, so you can change it to any color you want. So let me just try to change it to something this. Okay, So I'm using this, so you can see that my background has changed. Not only just color, you can also change use a image in the background as you like. Okay, so you can just download a image from anywhere you want, and you can use it in your background as well. So similarly, in the foreground part, it is not mandatory that you just use a clip art. You can also use an image. You can also use an image here. So so let me just add this. So I just change the name of this icon. So let me just say I see 5G. Okay, so let me just finish, and my icon is ready. Okay, so my 5G icon is now ready to be used. So let me show you how you can use it. So just drag an image view from the palette and place it here. Now let's find the icon. So basically the icon is now present in the map part. If I have shown you just now that the XML files of your icons are written in the drawable folder, but the actual files, the actual complete icon is present in the map folder. So you can see that here it contains my icons. Okay, so this is the regular icon and this is the round version of this icon. Okay, so let me just choose the round version for now. So let me click OK, and you can see that my icon is now here. So let me place it somewhere. Okay, so you can see that I have chosen a round icon, but it is still showing me a square icon. Okay, so basically the shapes of the icon is decided on the Android version that your phone would be actually using. Okay, because earlier Android versions didn't support round icons. Okay, if you have used earlier Android versions, so you can remember, if you can remember, that they were using just a rectangular, a square, sorry, a square icon. Okay, not round icons. So let me just try to run this app. So I'm just positioning the views. So I've just positioned the views. Okay, so let me just try to run it now. So so now you can see that my app is now up and running. My app is now up and running, and it is showing me the round icons that I have actually selected. Okay, so I can, you can see how easily can I find the uh, icons in Android Studio as well. Okay, means I don't manually need to find it on the web. I can first search it in the Android Studio as well. So basically it is already provided by Google itself. Okay, so many of the icons are already provided here as well. However, you can search on some sites like Dribble to find some free icons. Okay, it's all up to you. Okay, but I would recommend you to use these icons because as I've just told you earlier, that it's the clearness of your icon depends on the device that is on which your app is running. Means if the device is small, it might be the issue. If the device is small, then the icon look might be different and compared to the device of different size. Okay, so I would recommend you to use these icons that are provided from here itself. Okay, but it's all up to you as you like. So this was the icons part. Now let me show you another great part. So earlier I've told you that just developing Android apps or just developing anything is not a solution. Okay, you should also know how to actually find the issues or find the crashes in any of your software. Okay, it is an important skill for every software engineer. Okay, remember that. not just in Android, but in any field. Okay, remember, you should know how you could find how you can find the bugs or crashes into your app. So basically, Android provides this logcat feature. Okay, so that you can find the crashes into your app. So to demonstrate how the logcat actually works, let me just do a little thing. Let me just delete this one now. Okay, so now let's just see this icon. Okay, the phone icon. So let me just define an on-click attribute. You might remember that the on-click attribute is used to find the to integrate the functions into your icons or into your views. Okay, so currently I have defined the on click attribute as call, means when the app runs and when I tap here, the app would try to find a function named call in my main activity.kt file. But you can see that I've just deleted that function. Okay, so it should crash. Okay, so let me just try to do it. So let me run the app. So you will see that when I will be tapping on the phone icon, my app will be crashing. So you can see that my app just crashed. When I just click on the phone icon, let me just do it one more time. So my app is crashing. Okay, but you might face this issue not just in this part. Means you might be thinking, why is your app crashing? So here nothing is happening. Okay, so basically actually all the scene goes in the logcat. Now, if you don't know what logs are, so you can think logs are basically all the nodes or all these steps that your system, not just your system, but your entire application takes to find the logs are basically all the you can think them as a diary. Okay, means all these events that are happening into your system are written here. Okay, means are recorded here. Okay, so let me just show you. So first, remember when you are using logcat for finding a crash, you should use here the error in the drop down. Okay, so I've just selected error from here. Now let me run the app. So you can see the logcat screen here as well. So let me just run the app, phone app. So currently everything is fine. Okay, nothing in, no error is there. So let me try to tap on the 5G icon as well. So nothing is happening. No any issues in the logcat as well. So now let me tap on the phone icon. So you can see that instantly my app just crashed and also something got in my logcat as well. Okay, from here you can find actually what went wrong. Okay, so now again remember, you should be able to read the errors. Okay, errors, because it is also an important skill to find the actual error. Means there is many things written here, but you don't need to read all the stuffs. Okay, so just find the relevant thing. So you can see here that here it is saying that could not find a method call, and I've just told you that this was the main cause of the error, because I have not defined any method here. I have not defined any method named call. Okay, so you can see that I have not defined any method here named call. Okay, so this was the main reason, and you can see that from where it went wrong. So it went wrong due to the on click attribute that is defined in the image view 3. That basically it was the id of my call icon. So let me just show you id of this. So you can see the id of this icon is image view 3. So in the logcat as well, it is written here that it is happening due to the image view 3. Means it is telling me about the id of the element that due to which the app just crashed. Okay, and the main reason was that it could not find the proper method named call, due to which it just crashed. Okay, is it fine? Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
basically you will be using Logcat many a times, okay, because even in my time when I started developing Android apps, I generally get worried about why my app is crashing, because you have just seen that without opening the Logcat nothing was happening when I was running my app. Again, let me just run it right now. So when I was running my app, it was crashing and nothing was happening in my Android Studio. Okay, so all the scene was in the Logcat. So this was just I've shown you the demo of how you can actually find the errors into your app using Logcat. Okay, so again let me just show you one more thing in the Logcat as well. So suppose you want to test that. Let me define the uh, function here, again the function named call. So I guess you all might have now been familiar of how you should define a function, okay, in Kotlin. So let me just uh, make it just a empty function for now. So let me just run the app again once again. So let it get started. Okay, so now let me tap on it. So you can see that now my app is not crashing. Okay, because I have just defined the function here. Okay, now you want to it is just a small demo. Okay, so I think you want to be doing it in the real scenario. Okay, you want to be defining a just a simple function because your Android app will be complex. Let me tell you, your Android app will be complex, so you will be having multiple functions, multiple classes, multiple activities. Okay, so but the debugging skill is same there and here as well. Okay, so if I want to test that if is my function being called, so I can test this using two features. So I can use the log again. So for logging any statement in the logcat, okay, means I'm intentionally logging any statement in logcat. Okay, I'm intentionally logging any statement in logcat to just check that whether my app is running on whether my function is working or not. Okay, so for logging, just type log dot now each log statement has a different severity. Okay, so log.I means information, means it is just telling you an information of a particular thing. And then comes the dot e means it just it contains the error messages. Okay, so you can choose the severity as you want. So I'm just using for the time being log.I. Okay, so this method basically wants me two strings. So the first string is basically tag, means by what name should I find the logs. Okay, so let me just use the name as my log. Okay, now what message should I print when what message should be logged here? So I function is working correctly. Just used a log.i statement. I means information. So the tag of my log statement is my log. So basically I can just use this tag to find my log, because there are many logs being registered every time. Okay, so your log, you might not be able to find your log, so that is why we are specifying a particular tag. So I will show you how you can find your log. So let me just get back to normal mode and let me just run this statement. uh, so let the app build. Now my app is now ready. Okay, so let me see if my function is working or not. So let me just tap on the call icon. Okay, so you can see here that a log get registered from here. Can you see it? Is the same log that I have written here? Is it same? Okay, So you can see that a log is being registered here.
Yes.
So you can define your own severity. Means if something went wrong, then you can define a log for that as well. Okay. So this is one of the debugging techniques. Okay, of using logcat and registering logs. So you by even you can use toast messages as well. So I have shown in the last session, I guess, of how to use a toast message. So let me just toast.make test this. So again, let me just help you to get through the toast statement. Okay, so when you will be adding a toast message, first you would be writing the toast. Okay, then make text means it is making the message that you want it to send. Okay, so first one is context, which you will be generally referring to as this. Okay, this means if you have heard of objects. Okay, this means the object of this class. Okay, the object of this class. So it is also a Kotlin class. Main activity.kt is also a Kotlin class. So this means the object of this class. And the next one is text, means what message should it print. Okay, and the third one is the time, means for what time should it print the message. So you can specify your own time, as well as you can specify the predefined times. Okay, so it has two predefined times: length short for short time, and a length long for some long time. So I'm using length short, and then you will be using dot show function to show this message. If you don't want to use the show function here, you can use it another where as well. So let me just use it as a variable. I've assigned this toast message to a variable named toast. Okay, so now what I could do is I could show the toast message, toast dot show. So now the message will be shown. So let me just again run the app. So my app is now running, and now I can see that my function is correctly working. Okay, so this was just a small function, but but this technique is very helpful when you would be having multiple functions. Okay, means many a times even I get worried if some of my function is getting working or not, because I've told you just now that your Android app will be having multiple functions, not just one function. Your Android app will be having multiple classes as well. Okay, so these debugging techniques you should know how you should use these techniques. Okay, so now another thing in Android Studio I would like to show you is the profiler tool. Okay, so what a profiler is actually, so you will agree that basically your app is using some resources of any smartphone. So all smartphone contains some resources, like smartphone contains RAM, smartphone contains CPU. Okay, smartphone contains some ROM. Okay, so Android app is using some resources. So you can monitor those resources. You can monitor those resources from Android profiler tool. So currently my app is running here. My app is running here, and you can see that what amount of RAM is my app using. So you can see that currently my app is using 81.8 megabytes of RAM. My app is currently not using any CPU because I am not doing anything with the app. But when I just tap on the app, you can see that the CPU usage is changed. It is getting just 1 or 2% because it is doing very simple things. And you can see that here are three dots, which means I've done three taps right now. So as I will do the taps, so you can see some more dots here as well. Okay, so now similarly in the network section, you can see currently my app is not using any internet. Okay, so this is what Android profiler tool will help you to visualize. Means ideally, let me ask you one more question. So your Android app should use more resources or less resources? Ideally, your Android app should use more resources or less resources.
अगर आप Kotlin में ही करना चाहते हो तो
Less resources.
less resources.
Bas- Definitely, because if your app will be using more resources, then it would be lagging some of the devices, because not everyone can afford to buy expensive smartphone. Okay, but you want your app to be used in all the devices, means everyone can use that app. Okay, so you should be monitoring this as well when you are developing your Android apps, means how much amount of resource is your app using. So you can, if you somehow your app is using more resources, you can search on the web on basically how can you reduce that thing. Okay, means how you can reduce the usage of your RAM in your app. Okay, so for example, you can use a linear layout or something when you are displaying a list of items. Okay, but it is not the ideal case. Actually, it would use much amount of resource. Instead of that, you should use a recycler view. Similarly, there are many other examples that you can incorporate, so that you can your app can use less resources and can be user friendly. So this was the profiler tool. Let me just stop this session. Okay. Okay, so now one more tip that I would like to give you all is that remember to test your app regularly. Means when you are working on any big Android app or any big Android project, so don't do this thing that first you will do all the coding part in your app, and then in the final time you will test it. Okay, because if something went wrong in your app, then it would be very so much hectic for you to find the reason of error. Okay, so whenever you define a function, whenever you define a particular element, please remember to run your app regularly, test your app regularly. Okay, because the time you would take for creating your whole app, okay, will be much less as compared to as the time you will take to find the reason of error. Okay, so remember to test your app regularly on the regular basis when you are developing any Android app. Okay, so it is a most common practice, and you should also remember it, so that everything works fine. Okay, so now let me show you some the apps that you would be actually making in this track, some of the apps. So I guess you have already seen the dice roller app, so it was already present in the new programming track. So it is somewhat similar to that as well, so I guess you have seen it already. So another app that you would be developing is About Me app, that is mainly developed to help you understand how can you incorporate user inputs, how can you handle the user inputs. So anything like I click on this, you can see this again. If I tap again, so this again here also you will be knowing how you can use scroll view as well. So the next app that you would be using developing is Color My View app. So as I told you before, that this app will help you in developing more complex layouts. So you can see that you can develop complex layouts, you can change the color as well of your layouts. Okay, so this is just another simple layout, but it is mainly focused, this app is mainly focused so that you can get familiar with the constraint layout. I've just told you the constraint layout theory. So the next app that you would be building is the Android trivia app. Okay, so this is a basic quiz app, and this app is mainly focused for you to understand about the fragments. Okay, you can just create a quiz and quiz game and just use it. Okay, so this is the Android trivia app, and also it would help you to understand how you can design this navigation drawer. I guess you have already seen this type of drawer in app Google Play Store. Okay, so you might be familiar with this, and even in many of the other apps. So this app will help you to understand how you can design this navigation drawer. Also, you will be getting to know how you can develop this overflow menu. Okay, so you have also seen this menu as well in many of our apps, so you will be knowing how you can develop this in this app. Now, this is a very basic app actually. There's a clicker app. Basically, you will be not building this app. You will be not truly building this app. So basically, this app is what it would help you to understand is the Android lifecycle. Means how the activities are created, how they get destroyed. Okay, how you can uh, save the data of your app like that. Okay, so you can see when I tap on it, you can see that the quantity and the price changes. And even if I use it in this view, all the quantities are same, the price is same, and this and the quantity is same. So you will be getting to know how you can actually able to save this. Okay, because ideally when you will be building your Android app, you can try this as well, that when you would be having some values there, and if you try to rotate your screen, then those values will be gone. Okay, so you will be getting to know how you can actually save these values. So this was the desert clicker app. Also, another thing here, you will be also knowing how you can actually use intents. Okay, intents, if you don't know actually what are they, so intents help you to communicate between different activities of this same app or even different apps. Okay, means you can say it as a bridge between different activities. Means you want to share something. Okay, you have something on any of the site and you want to share it using the share icon or any of the app. So you just click on the share icon, and here it comes to select an app. So it is basically using an intent, and it is using an explicit intent. So you will be getting to know in detail of how what intents are and what explicit intents are, and how you can use it to do some great things. So now the next app is the guess the word app. Okay, so this is also just a simple app. So basically you will be not developing it fully again. Okay, so some of the starter code will be already given to you, and this is just a simple app. And now the last means another app is the real estate app. So this would might be the exciting app that you would be developing. Okay, basically this app is mainly focused for you on how you can how your app can connect to the internet. Okay, so basically this app is getting the images from the web and showing it in the app. Okay, so it is named as real estate on Mars. It is just an hypothetical app. Okay, means to buy any particular land on Mars, so you can choose it from here like that. It is just a hypothetical app. Okay, so all the images that are here are basically coming from the internet. Okay, on from the web. So you will be knowing how you can incorporate images from the web into your app. So you can see that here are also the overflow menu. So so there are some more apps, one or two more apps that are more basic apps. So the main point was here that each app is designed in such a way that you can know a specific skill by the help of that app. Okay, means each app has a specific gets you a, helps you get a specific knowledge, helps you get a specific skill in Android development. Okay, so these were the apps that you would be building. So now just get to the session. Now I hope you have enjoyed today's session and building your Android apps. So remember to share what you have learned on the social media platforms using hashtag Android Study Jams, hashtag DSCNITP. Okay, so if you want to continue learning, here are some of the resources that I would like to provide you all. So you can find the numerous resources for Android development available online. You can find learning content in variety of formats like videos, articles, code samples based on how you would like to learn the best. But here are some of the best resources that I would like to provide you all. Okay, so the first one, which is the most interesting one and the most helpful one, is the developing Android apps with Kotlin Udacity course. So this course is again provided by Google itself. Okay, so let me tell you the best part of this code. This course is you will find the most of the pathways of pre-real programming experience track completed hands-on by Googlers themselves. Okay, so make sure to register for this course as well. So here are also another some other resources. So you can check the Android developers blog, or you can search for Android developers on YouTube channel. Okay, you can go to the official Android developer site, so where you can find the different documentation of anything you want help from there. So you should, so let me just give you a walkthrough of this course as well, so that just so I hope that my Chrome screen is visible to you all.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is the course that I am giving you all. So this is the developing Android apps with Kotlin course. This is provided by Google itself. Okay, so you should start the free course. So it is obviously a free course. So for joining this free course, you first need to sign up. So you can just use your Google sign up for signing in to your Udacity account. So it is just as simple as that. So let me just start this course. So this is what the course would actually look like. So you can see that basically all the pathways of the pre programming experience track are covered here. Okay, so let me just show you from any one of this. So let me start this video first Android app. So here all the course part is mainly on a in the form of a video, and here are also some quizzes that are not graded. Okay, those, so don't get worried about that. So here are all the things. Here are all the basically all the pathways completed hands-on here itself. Okay, so I've just shown you the dice ruler app, so you can see that you would be able to create the dice ruler app here as well. Okay, so you would be able to create the dice ruler app here as well. So you can find it very much easy for you. If you get stuck into the code labs, so you can quickly jump here as well, so that you can it would help you to finish the code lab as well. Okay, so this was the dice ruler app, and you can also find the other apps. So you can see here as well. So this app is the about me app. So you can see that, sorry, color my view app. So you can see how can you build the color my view app by here as well. Okay, so similarly you can find all the other pathways here as well. So since it contains 10 pathways in the programming experience track, you can see that here are also 10 lessons. Okay, so you can complete from here as well. So you can first come if you get stuck in any of the pathway, you can first start from here, then take the code lab. There is no issue in that. Okay, so after taking the code lab, you can give the quiz and just pass the quiz and earn the badge. Okay, so it would be much more easier for you. Okay, so this was the course. So this was all the resources. Again, now summing up, thank you for thank you everyone for joining these sessions. Okay, so I hope that you have learned something new, learned something great by joining these sessions. Okay, so hope you have liked this session as well. So this was our final session, and remember, but I'm always available for your help on the WhatsApp group. Okay, so if you get stuck, you can simply ping me on the groups as well. So again, thank you all. So now let's have the questions if you be having.
Sir, how to
So
download
this
Sir
is this
Kotlin?
was our last session, right?
Yeah, this was our last session.
So we will
Sir,
not
how to
meet till 29 February.
Tawfiq, I will just give the answer of your question. Please let
okay,
Mohan.
sir, okay.
Yes, Mohan, please.
Sir, so you told this was our last session, but the deadline for completion of course is 29 February. So
Yeah,
any
yeah,
doubt we will ask in group, but we will not meet that like this session anyway.
yeah. There won't be any sessions from now. Okay. So, but I've told you that don't get bothered about that. I will be available on the WhatsApp groups. Okay. So you can ask me. You can also personally ask me. Don't worry about that. Okay. So, but the sessions. This was the last session that we have planned. Okay.
One more thing, you told about Lockcat. So we generally can consider Lockcat as the the exception handling in Java. It was quite similar to that.
Yeah. You can basically many of the crashes that your app might have is due to the exceptions. Okay, so you can find these
Hmm.
exceptions using the logcat. I've just shown you in the hands-on part that when I was running the app and I was crashing the app, so there wasn't any response in the Android Studio. Means there wasn't any message like that for that something went wrong. Okay, so I was unable to figure out. But when I just opened the Logcat terminal, I was able to figure out that this was the reason for the crash of my app. Okay,
Yes.
so understanding basically how you can find the reason of your
Okay. So
crash.
one more.
Okay, is the
Sir,
specific skill that you should be having.
okay. Sir, you told this was that desert app.
Yeah,
Desert.
Desert Clicker app.
Yeah. So their show option was the share option was there.
Yeah,
Share sharing button was there. Share using messaging, WhatsApp, anything. So how we
yeah.
will do that? We will learn that in this course or not?
Yeah. Obviously, this app was one of the app that you would be building. Okay, so again,
That
let
desert
me
app.
just
You
correct.
told that.
Let me just correct again. So this app you would be not building completely. Okay, but implementing that feature you will be doing it on the app. So you will be provided some starter code. Okay, you will be provided with some starter code, but implementing that feature you will be doing using the code labs. Okay,
Oh,
so
means
basically
that
it is done
some
using
part will be
intents.
there.
It is done using intents. So you will be knowing in detail about intents in that code lab as well. Okay, so I've just given a brief about intent as well. So you can just think it as a bridge between the activities, different activities within your app, or even between other apps. Okay, so your app just communicates with other apps to share some information or do some any of the task using some another app or even in the same app. Okay, so this was the main part of intent.
And so they like it's the same that and every app requires some permission or data to access. So let's think that I share my app with some user. I give my app to someone to use it. And that app will require some permission of that user. Will permit hello.
I could not understand your question, sorry, please can you repeat?
Every app requires some permission to get access. Suppose I give my app and I share my app to someone, to some another phone
Yeah,
to get it done.
yeah,
It will ask for some permissions
yeah,
for
sure.
that device. So we
Huh,
will able to get that.
definitely.
So one more thing, the creator of the app usually has all the permission, has all the data of its users.
Yeah. So basically,
So
no.
if
Basically,
anybody
see,
will use
see.
that app,
Basically, now the Android system is getting more secure. Okay. So when user provides the permission, okay, when the user provides permission, then you might have seen that some specific permissions are provided by the user by the help of a prompt. For example, if your app is using the camera, then it asks
yes,
from the
sir.
user to give it permission for the camera. But if your app is using internet, so okay, so it might not ask the user for permission for the internet. Okay, but you need to define that permission in the manifest file. Okay, so but for different devices it will definitely ask for the permissions, and for the severe permissions that are critical permissions, so the user needs to this depends on the user on how the user will interact with that permission. So if the app is from a good let's say a good entity, so the user might give might give permission. So but I guess you won't be using many of the permissions, many of the critical permissions. Okay, so don't worry about that. But this part depends on the user whether user will give that permission or not. Okay, so this totally depends on the user.
Yes, sir. So, but at last, creator will have all the data information, the owner of the app.
See, basically creator can have the data. Okay, creator can have the data, but how but which data means suppose
Any
if
private
you are
data,
asking about,
any
no no
anything
no,
about
how
a
if
device.
if suppose if the user have given the permission of the call logs. Okay, suppose if the user has given the permission of the call logs, then the app would be the app would be having the data. Okay, the app would be having the data, but there might be this comes in the hacking part. Okay, so let's not get into that. Okay, so the app would be having that data for you for the use. Okay, this is the hacking part that you are talking about, so let's not get into that. So yeah, so the app would be having the data means suppose for the call logs or for the files, the app would be having the access to those, so that it can work with those, right?
Yes, sir.
But suppose some data of suppose the Facebook data, your app is installed and another app like Facebook installed. So if the data of the user is in the Facebook, so you can't access that data because Facebook or any app will block the you to access the data from there. Okay, so you will be also learning of how to access the data securely. Okay, means it also requires some permissions and some advanced knowledge. So if you would be learning and advanced Android, you will be getting to know how you can use that. It is the part of content provider. Let me just give you the word. Okay, it is the part of content provider that you would be using in Android if you would be learning in advance.
So one more thing at last. So how, what are the things required to publish any app on Play Store? The things of permission or anything. Can we do that?
Basically, for the case of Play Store, you first need to sign in for a Google developer account. Okay, so Google developer accounts comes
So
with a
Google
one-time fees.
developer, right? I wanted to ask about this.
One-time fees. Okay, one-time fees of $25. Okay, so you need to provide that fees. After that, you can publish as many apps as you want. Okay, you first need to provide
$25
that fees.
forever.
Yeah. It is forever. It is for lifetime. You just need to provide it for one time. But in different operating systems, I have heard about iOS app stores that they charge yearly, but Google Play Store charge just one time, $25, and now and then you can publish the apps on Google Play Store as well.
Okay. So what are the benefits or features of that developer account? More
The
extra
main
features?
benefit is that you would be able to publish the apps from in Google Play Store, as well as you can also access some of the some developer features or some tweaks that Google provides for each of the developer. Okay, means many of the great features that you could integrate in your app. you will get to know about them. So many of the new features that just got released, you can get on your email as well. Okay, so these are the some steps that you might get.
Okay, sir. And sir, suppose after completing this whole course, after that till 29 February, do we have any like what advanced course also that you told about Android, what advanced Android?
If you want, then I Udacity has course for an advanced Android as well. So but first complete this course. Okay, first complete this course with
It's okay.
full
It will take
focus.
time now also.
Okay, yes, that is why the deadline has been extended. Okay, that is why
Yes,
the
sir.
deadline has been extended. So first complete this course properly, and then if you want, I can provide you the material for advance as well. Okay, if you would like to jump into the advanced part, I will provide the material. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Thanks, sir. Sir, one more thing I wanted to ask. So why Android Studio runs so slow?
Android Studio, basically, I've told you in the first session as well that in Android Studio requires, let me say, just it is a RAM meter, means it asks takes much amount of RAM. Okay, so it wants RAM. So if you are having a PC with low RAM, okay, low RAM, so it could affect. There might be some performance glitches in Android Studio. It might be, you might feel it some what like. I've told you my experience as well that my
Yes,
last
sir.
laptop that I was using,
I
it
live
was just
in 4
very
GB.
low.
You suffered a lot, sir.
Your
Yes,
voice
yes.
was lagging.
You have
Please,
told this.
can you repeat?
So the same question you have already told us that in 4 GB RAM when you started learning, it was so slow.
Yeah, it was too slow. I've just told that even the building process that now it takes approx 45 30 seconds or 1 minute. At last, it was taking in my previous laptop, it was taking around 5 to 10 minutes. Okay, but I was having focus. I was passionate. I was full passionate on learning Android. So I just went through that. Okay, so
Sir, I have 8 GB RAM and sir, Core i5. It is enough.
yeah, it is enough. Okay, it is enough. If you have Core i5 along with 8 gigabytes of RAM, it is enough. Okay,
Okay,
it is
sir.
enough. However,
Sir,
if you want some more performance, try to use your real Android device for testing. Okay, I've told you repeatedly that for the any performance issues, you can test your app directly in your Android device. Okay, you can just use your emulator as in the final part when you are just trying to see what your app would be looking in different screen sizes. Okay, so at that time you can use different emulators as well. The purpose of the emulator was that you could test your app in multiple screen sizes. Okay, but initially when you are developing, you can directly use your Android device.
सर ये डाउनलोड नहीं हो पा रहा था सर, ये डाउनलोड कैसे होगा सर, थोड़ा बता देते सर, स्क्रीन शेयर करके।
Download
सर
what
जिस पे आप वर्क कर
Android
रहे थे
Studio,
कॉटलिन, सर कॉटलिन के लिए पहले
Kotlin.
एंड्रॉइड स्टूडियो डाउनलोड करना पड़ेगा सर।
यू Kotlin आपको डाउनलोड करने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप डायरेक्टली एंड्रॉइड स्टूडियो डाउनलोड कर ले, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, उसमें इशू नहीं है।
अभी सर जो आप जिस पे वर्क कर रहे थे वो क्या
वो
कॉटलिन था या
एंड्रॉइड
एंड्रॉइड
स्टूडियो था,
था?
वो एंड्रॉइड स्टूडियो था। आई जस्ट लेट मी जस्ट शो यू द स्क्रीन वंस मोर। सो
सर इंस्टॉलेशन प्रोसेस पूरा बता
इट
दीजिए सर
वाज
कैसे होगा,
इट installation, let me just
डाउनलोडिंग
show you.
प्रोसेस।
See here. So I've just given you this course. Okay, so you can see that here as well, it has a section of installing Android Studio. Can you see that?
यस सर।
So you can go through this course. Okay, in the starting lesson, it is told how will be installing the Android Studio. Okay, because the I've told you that installation part takes time of Android Studio, because many it downloads many of the files. Okay, so it takes time, and it also takes internet for the first time, so it takes time. So that's why I haven't have the walkthrough of installing Android Studio, because it
ओके
will take
ओके
a much amount of time.
यस
Okay,
सर, ये
so
यहाँ पे है सर, हो जाएगा।
yeah, so that's why I've given you this course. Okay, so okay, now everything is fine.
यस सर, थैंक यू सर।
So I
Excuse me,
hope
sir.
that yeah, sure.
Sir, if we are not able to complete in case, मतलब programming, prior programming before the deadline, so is there any problem, sir?
See, basically the official website will be available throughout. Okay, means it will not
Yes,
be
sir.
off, but you won't be getting the completion certificate from the DSC. You won't be getting the completion certificate.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so
So who
Thank
will
you,
just
sir.
provide
that
that
was
certificate? Android Study Jams from Google or some who is provide?
it is provided by Google, na? It is provided by Google because
You told that
we are
course will be
this it is
forever.
yeah, it is basically the website will be forever, but Android Study Jams program is basically maximum for 2 months under the DSCs. Okay, so each DSC will be summing up the program in within 2 months. Okay, so you just need to complete in by the deadline so that we can provide you a certificate. By the way, if you
Okay,
are
sir.
if
And
you
understood,
if
sir.
your voice was lagging, Mohan.
No, sir. I don't know. I understood it, sir. You say what we are doing.
I couldn't hear that. Sorry for that. Can you please repeat?
No, nothing, sir. Nothing. You explain what you wanted to explain. It's a 2 month course.
Yeah. So, anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. So, again, thank you all for joining the sessions of Android Study Jams. I hope that you have learned some great skills. Okay. So, just
Thank you,
continue
sir.
building Android apps. Okay. So, I will be there for you all for the course duration. Okay. So, you can just ping me on the WhatsApp for any help. Okay. Thank you.
सर प्रोवाइड द
Thank you,
लिंक
sir.
सर, वो कोर्स का।
Yeah. I will
सर
just provide the PPT. I will just provide the PPT. Okay. Don't